Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Anwar White, and I'm really glad to see all of you awesome B School applicants here. Thank you so much for joining me. As you can see, the title of this session is called Getting In: 4 Steps to Top B School Admission Success. Now, I know that maybe you've been on previous webinars where there's a lot of preamble and like getting to know you BS. I'm not that person at all. I know that we're all super busy professionals out there, and I want to respect your time and mine. So I hope you can forgive me, and we just get right to the good stuff. And we'll take care of all the other stuff another time. We have about a half an hour here together, so let's just rock and roll. So, who is this session for? This is for any applicant who wants to attend a top B school. So that's HBS, Stanford, Wharton, Columbia, Kellogg, MIT Sloan, Yale, Chicago, Booth, Haas, Dartmouth, and also top international schools like LBS and INSEAD, or really any other top elite business school for their MBA. Now, if you're interested in attending a top business school to take your career, salary, and life to the next level, then this is for you. So in the next half an hour, I'm going to show you how to apply to the most prestigious business schools and get better results than even applying to second-tier schools. How to convince the admissions committee, or as I like to call them, AdComs, that you belong in a top business school classroom, even if your GMAT is lower than average, so you don't have to spin your wheels and take it over and over again. I'm also going to show you how to get the AdComs to overlook some of those less than great grades on your undergrad transcript, even if your GPA is, say, on the lower end, 3.3 or lower. I'll also show you how to feel secure and confident in your application process, because you're going to have a clear plan of what to do at every step of the way. And how to do all of this, even if you aren't a great writer or you're a super humble person who doesn't like to brag about any of your achievements or accomplishments. My promise to you is that if you stay with me for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to deliver a step-by-step strategy to get you into your dream business school. So there's nothing for sale on this webinar, but if you stick with me until the very end, I'm going to give you an amazing guide for free called Getting In's 30 MBA Essays That Worked. Now, I created this guide because in working with the hundreds of B School applicants, the biggest issue that they were having was how to really know when their essay was good and when they still needed to work on it, right? This is also something that I use to get a lot of my clients started. And normally, this is only for my clients that are spending thousands of dollars to work with me. And if I do sell this, I sell it for about $300. But if you stick with me all the way until the end of this webinar, I'm going to give it to you for free. So, does this sound like you? When people ask you where you're applying, you leave out your dream school because you're clueless about how competitive your profile is, or if it's actually good enough to get into your dream school. Maybe you're even, going back and forth each day trying to figure out if you should apply or not. Or do you think that your profile is boring and you have no way of standing out from the MBA applicant pool of amazing Mother Teresas and Steve Jobs out there? Are you losing sleep and time over the GMAT and not putting in the proper energy and focus into the other parts of your business school application? Are you still waiting for a great score? Or maybe you're on the online forums like GMAT Club or scouring sites like Poets and Quants trying to find reliable information and advice for the B School application process. Or maybe you haven't been able to connect the dots yet and create a seamless story with the various parts of your life and bring that story to life in a coherent manner. Are you feeling overwhelmed with the entire process of so many moving pieces of the B School application, the deadlines, the events, the scholarships, etc., and don't know how to get in the know? And most importantly, do you feel like there's a hidden part of the B School application process that most know about, but no one is talking about when it comes to applying and getting accepted to top business schools? Well, you know what? If this is how you feel, I've got great news for you. Because none of these things are the real problem. The real problem is that you haven't learned the secrets. And I'm going to tell you what those are in just a second. Now, once you know those secrets, you'll be able to confidently apply to your dream schools even if your GMAT score is lower than average. You won't be worrying about your lower GPA or your work experience gaps because you will have a proven strategy that will focus on your academic success and strengths, which will completely overshadow any of your quote-unquote weaknesses. You'll have a game plan that the insiders know about that will boost your profile and completely level up your B School candidacy. Once you know those secrets, you'll know the best stories to tell in your essays and how to tell those stories so that you check all of those boxes of what the adcoms are exactly looking for. You'll be ready to submit applications to the most lucrative and prestigious fellowships and scholarships, even if you already have the money to pay for B School in cash. And you'll do all of this while still being and doing you, and get every admissions officer to give you that clear yes admission. No waitlists or rejections for you. The one thing you need to know, and the one thing you really need to understand, is that there are 4 simple secrets you need to get into the top business school program like a rock star and catapult your career and salary. And I'm going to walk you through exactly those secrets today. So listen, before we get into all of that, I just want to take about 30 seconds to really quickly introduce myself so that you know who I am and that I know what the hell I'm talking about. My name is Anwar White. I'm a former fashionista turned entrepreneur. I am a CBS MBA alum, as well as the founder of Getting In MBA, where I've helped hundreds of B School applicants all over the world get into top schools like HBS, Stanford, INSEAD, and more. I've been doing this for over 10 years now, and truth be told, I love doing this. I love helping people tell their unique stories and get them into top MBA programs. And in turn, changing their careers and their lives. I'm a former MBA admissions consultant for a leading MBA admissions company where I was the best consultant there in terms of document analysis and top school acceptance rates, which was a 92% acceptance rate of getting into at least one of a client's top 3 schools in their school set. But you know what? It wasn't always like this. Let me tell you a little bit about how I discovered these 4 secrets. Like I already told you, I've gotten the chance to work with hundreds of B School applicants all over the world. And you know what's really interesting? Some of these applicants had incredible breakthroughs where they went from no chance in hell to getting into 3, 4, 5 top B schools. Some would get results that I thought were also good, like getting into 1 or 2 top B schools. And then some of them were applicants who struck out and didn't get into any top schools. And as I began to look at these people, and it wasn't just B School applicants that I was working with, it was also applicants that my colleagues were working with as well. As I observed all of these applicants, specifically over the past few years, I got to notice that the top achievers, the applicants that got the best results, did 4 very specific things. Just 4 things. It didn't matter if they had a GMAT score that sucked, or a GPA that needed a lot of explanation, or didn't have an extracurricular to save their life. The applicants who succeeded were the ones that were doing these 4 things. And I believe if you can do just these 4 things, that you will be able to get into your top MBA program and catapult your career and salary as well. So there are 4 simple secrets that you need to get into a top business school program like a rock star and catapult your career and salary. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how to make those shifts today. And I'm going to walk you through all 4 of them on this session right now. So the first secret is to keep your integrity intact. Now, this is going to serve you well not just in your MBA admissions journey, but later in life as well. From those internship interviews to those ethical dilemmas you will face as you step into your long-term career goals. Integrity is at the heart of everything that we do at Getting In MBA. Although the top schools have great reputations and programs, applying to these schools just because of their names is a recipe for disaster and rejection. As simple and important as this concept is, it can still be a difficult concept for many applicants to accept. You see, passion and research of a school is very apparent and bleeds through the page when one writes about it in the essays. And these adcons see thousands of essays every application season. They need all but 30 seconds of reading your essays to figure out if you really want to go to their school or not. Now, once you master this and you apply to the schools that you really want to go to, the passion will definitely jump out at the adcoms and help differentiate you as a candidate because it will be apparent that you've done your research, you've chatted with alumni and current students, and even reached out to program heads and professors. You can see how that is much more compelling than an applicant just regurgitating what's on the website. This can only happen when you apply with true integrity, and it is up to you to keep it intact throughout this admissions journey. So I'm sure you're asking yourself, so what does keep your integrity intact really mean for you right now for your applications? Well, it means that if you have dream careers, however big or small that they may be to you, you've got to be honest in your application and state them unabashedly. Again, that passion is going to really make those essays shine. So, for example, if you've been running a nonprofit centered on women's issues, but you push a story about how you want to do investment banking because you think it sounds good, when in reality you want to do media production focused on women, go with the career goal that's closer to your heart. It will be easier to connect those goals to a pattern of your accomplishments to your professional and personal experiences today. Got it? Good. So the second secret is for you to know that essays are like everything. You gotta remember this. Less than desirable GPAs, GMAT scores, lacking extracurriculars, and work gaps can all be explained away in your essays. But if you have, and you have to excuse my French, shitty essays, you're not gonna get in. Point blank, period. In a pool of thousands of amazing applicants, the top schools can choose whomever they want to create an interesting class that will create interesting classrooms, and at the end of the day, get amazing jobs, become huge success stories, and bring fame to the program's name. The essays are a glimpse into knowing that. It is an opportunity to show, not tell, who you are. There are so many times that adcoms read an essay and at the end of it just say to themselves, I don't know who this applicant is. I don't want that for you. Essays require you to go back to your childhood and remember each and every life-shaping event to get a better understanding of yourself. It's all about what I call unpeeling the onion. You have to go deeper inside of yourself to understand what really makes you tick, what you want your legacy to truly be, and what sort of impact you want to make on the world. It is with these questions that you can start to write an interesting, visionary essay where adcoms can get a good understanding of who you are and what you will bring to the program. Now, when you get this right, you are able to truly differentiate yourself from the crowded pack. With the self-awareness shown in your essays, you will also illustrate your current and potential leadership abilities, which is really what all top business schools are looking for anyway. So let me tell you about Anon. He was a client I had from India. He's also male and tech, which is the most competitive profile. I call it TIM, tech, Indian, and male. And for that profile, top schools basically have their acceptance rate and increase their average GMAT score by about 50 points, just to give you some context. It wasn't until we had a discovery call to come up with an action plan and went through his entire life story that I found out about an amazing accomplishment he was able to achieve, whereby he basically created a trash collection program in his city and created hundreds of jobs. He didn't even have this on his resume, so there was no way of the adcoms really knowing about this. He thought that B schools didn't want to hear about such stories. Well, we wrote the mess out of that story in each of his applications, and he got into Tuck and Booth with partial scholarships. He is now at Google making products that help make life so much easier for people. So you gotta know that when you rock these essays out, you're gonna rock your entire application out. So the third secret I want to share with you today is all about using the secret weapon. Mastering the art of MBA admissions is all about doing you with head and heart, and obviously kicking ass in everything that you do. This is the most powerful and effective way to get accepted to your dream B school while maintaining your integrity and individuality to stick out from the crowd. So I want to just go through kind of the old way of how people got into business school. So first, you would go to an Ivy League undergrad, get an awesome job at an investment bank or a consulting firm where you're working, 80 plus hours a week. And, you would just write your essays for business school about how hard of a worker you were and how you killed it at work. And you know what? That worked like clockwork 10 years ago. It even still works today on occasion, in the right way, of course. But it's getting harder and harder to get in that way. This is what I call the by the book, cross your fingers MBA admissions journey. Why, you may ask? Well, first, so many applicants still apply this way because that's all they know and what they've been taught. The idea of following a path already set up for success makes them believe that they're a shoo-in to get in. And that's not necessarily the case. There are finite spots in each class, and they are, in essence, competing with the other investment bankers and consultants out there who are already applying. So they'll need to present an even better application than the average application profile to get in. The truth of the matter is that AdComs are looking to create a diverse class, diverse in thought, experiences, geography, etc. They value individuals who have created their own paths instead of fitting into a cookie-cutter archetype. These top business schools can afford to do this because they're not trying to protect their ranking or go up in the rankings like many of the second-tier schools are. This is why it's easier to apply to top schools versus a second-tier school, because top schools can, take a chance on some applicants with stellar applications, while second-tier schools either generally don't want to take the risk to protect their ranking or will reject you because your application is so good they know that you will go to a higher ranked school, messing up their yield. So, do you really want an applicant that looks like this, that just focuses and applies with their head and, is always talking about how much of a workaholic they are and how much they work all the time and that they're never at home, they don't have any friends outside of work, they don't have any time to pursue any community or self-interests? Those individuals and applicants look very one-sided and boring. I don't want that for you. The new way is all about doing you in your own path, but with head and heart. I believe it offers an equal balance of opportunities for top business school admission success while maintaining your integrity and individuality to stick out in the crowd. So just think about this. You're going to present yourself as with head, right? With the ability to let them know that you can do the work, that you're a visionary. But at the same time, you're going to show your heart and how you connect with people and lead with people. That's leadership. That's the new kind of leadership that's happening in today's world. And business schools know that. Now, according to scientific studies, EQ, or emotional intelligence, what I call the heart, is more beneficial to success than IQ, intellect quotient, or what I call the head. Obviously, you know IQ. It represents visual and spatial processing, knowledge of the world, fluid reasoning, working memory, short-term memory, quantitative reasoning, all of the above. What you might not be super familiar with is really EQ, which is centered all around identifying emotions, evaluating how others feel, controlling one's own emotions, perceiving how others feel, using emotions to facilitate social communication and results, and just relating to others. Obviously, IQ will show the AdComs that you can do the work in the classroom, right? And, do the work right out of business school. But EQ gives you a better sense of how you will lead when you achieve your long-term goal or when you're a high-level executive in a company. Since you won't be doing the work, but managing the work, and more importantly, managing the people who do the work. Trust me, you'll thank me when you start implementing this in your essays and applications. And especially when you get into your dream school because you told a strong story and presented yourself in the most compelling way possible. So I want to talk a little bit about my client Leon, who started the application process with a pretty good GMAT. It was in the low 700s, but he had no idea how to tell his story. Instead of just talking about his amazing CRM and marketing work in the Major League Soccer organization, where he helped MLS grow double digits annually, we also wrote about his foray into the music business as a producer, rapper, and how he organized annual parties in New York City to benefit breast cancer checkups in the region of Nigeria where he was born. Mind you, these were things he didn't know he could even write about. He got acceptances from Stanford, Wharton, Haas, Columbia. Look, he didn't come from a cookie-cutter past. He went to a lower-tier liberal arts college, and he used his essays to show his head and his heart leadership to get into top schools. As you can see, when you get this right, you set yourself apart from the rest of the pack, doing you and being your authentic self. The more you bring your heart into the mix, the more your leadership skills will truly shine. When you get this wrong, however, and just talk about how much you kill it at work, and you instantly become a one-dimensional applicant, and that appeals to no one. A business school program is a third classwork, a third networking, and a third party work, aka partying. And if you just show your classwork side, it will be hard for adcons to see you as a viable candidate able to kill all aspects of the business school experience. One dimensionality makes you a higher risk for the big ding. Again, I don't want that for you. So now at this point, we know that we must keep our integrity intact, that essays are like everything, and that you gotta use a secret weapon of just doing you with your head and your heart. Obviously kicking ass in everything that you do. Now let's look at the final secret, investing in an admissions mentor. Now, there's no manual on MBA admissions, even though people are readily wanting to give you one, which is good and bad. It's good because you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But it's also bad because you never really know if you're doing things correctly for your specific profile and candidacy. Everyone should have an admissions mentor. Mentoring brings two things: new ideas and accountability. There are new ideas in your head right now that you would have never even thought about if you didn't make time for this webinar. Now, a good admissions mentor will give you great ideas and make sure you act on them. A great admissions mentor, however, will also put together a powerful group of people all working towards similar goals, getting you into your dream school. This multiplies everyone's effectiveness exponentially. In our program, we have former admissions officers, former MBAs, and awesome wordsmithing editors to make sure your essays flow smoothly, all for you and your applications. This way, you have so many distinct perspectives so everyone can focus on getting you into your top school and creating the most amazing application for you. So today I promise to show you how to apply to the most prestigious business schools and get better results than applying to second-tier schools. How to convince the adcoms that you belong in a top B school classroom, even if your GMAT is lower than average, so you don't have to spin your wheels and take it over and over and over again. And also how to get the adcoms to overlook some less than great grades on your undergrad transcript, even if your GPA is on the lower end of a 3.3 or lower. I also showed you how to feel secure and confident in your application process because you're going to have a clear plan of what to do every step of the way. And how to do all of this even if you aren't a great writer or you're a super humble person who doesn't like to brag about your accomplishments or achievements. Look, here's what you need to get into your top MBA program. You need to keep your integrity intact, know that essays are like everything, and you have to rock them out. Use the secret weapon, which is all about doing you with head and heart, and also investing in an admissions mentor. These 4 secrets alone are enough to propel you to MBA admissions success. So now you have a choice. I just taught you all of this stuff, and so now you have a choice. You can either take this information that I've given you and just forget all about it. It can be just another webinar on just another day. You've gotten probably some nice ideas and you can just forget about it. And if you do that, I can tell you right now that you are not going to get into the best business school that you can get into and stay stuck exactly where you are in your career and life. Be frustrated that you can't get ahead and make the money that you feel that you're worth, and feel unhappy because you underestimated the MBA application process, and you might have to reapply or go to a second-tier school where your dream company doesn't even recruit from. You may even feel defeated because you will have applied and not gotten into any of your top programs and feel like you just aren't good enough to get in. You may even feel hopeless because you know that you have the goods to go to a top school, but you don't know how to properly execute a successful MBA application. You know why you came to this webinar. If you're on this webinar, you came here for a reason. And I believe it's because you know your lone perspective right now is not enough to get you into a top B school. So you have a choice. You can take this information and you can pass it by and stay stuck and continue to struggle trying to tell your story in a compelling way. Or if you want to take your MBA applications to the next level, if you want to get into your dream school, get the post MBA position you want, and make a true impact with the dream company you want to work for and make shit tons of money, if that's what you want, then here's what I have for you. My team and I have set aside some time in the next week to speak to you personally about how you can apply these ideas to your specific MBA applications starting today. I've given you these 4 big secrets, but the truth is every applicant is different, and you need to learn how to apply these shifts to your candidacy. So if that is what you want to do, we are more than happy to get on the phone with you and explain to you exactly what the next steps are for you to do just that. Now, the cost of doing this is absolutely free. We do this totally free of charge, but here's the catch. This is not for everybody. You must be absolutely committed to getting into a top 10 MBA program and be willing to be vulnerable and coachable to produce the very best applications possible. You also must be willing to invest to get these awesome results and be very reliable. No excuses. If you don't think that you can be open and disciplined about this, this is not for you. Here's why we're doing this. On the call, I'll help you get total clarity on the exact steps you should take to achieve your ideal application to your dream school. This includes strategizing and branding your application, creating a solid story with clear short and long-term career goals, and even a review of your resume to get you ready for prime time. If you want us to help you, and if we think it's a good fit, we may even invite you to become one of our new clients we take on this month. Now, if we work together, I'll put you through the exact same process I put the hundreds of applicants that I've worked with through. The action steps are designed to get the best stories out of you and help you write with a confident and compelling voice so that the adcoms can know how awesome you truly are. I expect us to finish each school program within 3 weeks from start to finish. So click below because spaces are very limited. Just sign up now. In the breakthrough session, we're going to get crystal clear on your strengths and how to accentuate them, as well as your weaknesses and how to overcome them. If you want to sign up for an MBA admissions breakthrough call, go to gettinginmba.com/free-consultation, and we will hook you up. We're always so happy to help applicants strengthen their applications and get them in their top MBA schools. And we can't wait to help you as well. With that said, have a good one and talk with you soon.